And so it begins. Welcome to our weekly recap of Love and Marriage DC. It feels like it's been forever since we talked about these cast of characters, and it's been a while since we talked about some of the tea that's been happening about why former Real Housewives of Potomac and now former Love and Marriage DC star Monique Samuels decided not to return to the reality series. But before we do any of those things, be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe because it is a subscribers only live chat. So everyone that's watching, where are you watching from? Let me know. And how would you rate this very first episode of season 2 of Love and Marriage DC? So enough of that. And shout out to our channel members. Shout out to our moderators. We could not do this without you. Of course, shout out to our subscribers. And for those of you watching in the bushes, keep watching. Keep watching because it helps the channel. We appreciate you. Just like the video, okay? It'll help your channel too. So I wasn't sure what to expect for season 2 because when the news broke that Monique Samuels would not be returning for another season, she claims it was contract issues. And I was just like, wait a minute, weren't you guys filming? Didn't you figure out your contract beforehand? Maybe, maybe not. But even Ashley, when she was interviewed and asked about the promo that came out and it was sans the Samuels, she also was shocked because I believe they did film. So, Carlos King, the very first episode, it is the big mystery. What is going on with the Samuels? So as you know, during BravoCon, I feel like I've been bringing up BravoCon ever since it happened. But there was a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes that gives us perspective when we talk about these shows. So as you know, at BravoCon, Ashley Darby was the one to drop the bomb that Monique and Chris Samuels allegedly were separating. She said it twice. And according to Monique and Chris, they did their own YouTube live talking about this. And all of you still were like, we don't understand what you're saying here. We're confused. So a lot of people were speculating, especially now that they decided not to return to Love and Marriage DC, that maybe they put out this story. They put out this story in order to get more money for this season, allegedly. Honestly, Monique, at this point, it's kind of making sense. So the cast of characters, Ashley, Arena, they are the stars. Their new promo. I thought maybe Joi and Clifton would come on as the third couple, but no. In this promo, it's just Ashley and Arena and their husbands, of course, as the stars. Honestly, this was a last-minute decision by Monique. And I do believe Monique and Chris were probably trying to get more so Monique was probably trying to get more money to be on this show. As you know, she struggled last season with all of you. I'm gonna put it on you guys. She struggled with you guys last season because based on what we got from Monique, we saw another side of Monique. I don't even know if we saw another side. If anything, it really just shined a light on her and her relationship that we kind of sensed on Potomac, but now we don't have all of those ladies there and their issues. We just have Monique, who's supposed to be the spearheading this new city. And a lot of you had very strong opinions about Monique specifically, not Chris. A lot of you loved Chris after this, and you're like, Monique, maybe his mama was right. So we come into season 2. Some of you said that you didn't want to see her come back for a season 2, but then I just didn't see them coming back for a second season and not having Monique be there. I just thought that Monique would show up a little bit differently. Like I said before, on her radio program in the DMV, she said the reason why she didn't return were contract issues. She says there's no beef with Carlos, but the contract wasn't right. Okay. I'm wondering, she wanted more money maybe? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to know your value. Other people, these companies are not going to pay you what you think that you're worth. However, they still used the footage from last season and their name on this first episode because they're like, where are the Samuels? It makes sense though, because you can't just come out with this first episode and not talk about the people, the stars from last season, and where are they? So we get these two separate scenes with DJ Quick at the radio station and with Jamie. He's there as well. But Quick says that he was blindsided by this information by his co-host, who brings up the whole Samuel's divorce rumor that was out there. And Quick is like, we didn't talk about this in our prep meeting. I feel like that's a little shady. And I wonder like why they wouldn't speak about that and sort of like caught him off guard. I mean, DJ Quick has been spearheading this show, his radio program for so long. That seems like something that I would go into the office like, don't ever do that to me again. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't be cool with me. Because at the end of the day, isn't he sort of like the star of this radio program and station? Like, why would you blindside me when these are personal friends of mine? Or maybe he's just saying that. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he handled it very well because he's a professional. So they end up talking about the whole Monique and Chris situation. So does Arena and Ashley. So Arena and Ashley are hanging out. They're becoming, because look, when we were introducing them, these people weren't really deep friends. The person that united all these people was Monique. So Arena and Ashley are hanging out and they're discussing Monique's possible divorce. Ashley, per usual, I almost forgot why I loved Ashley last season. And some of you really do not like Ashley on social media. I'm always a little shocked by that. But look, you guys have a right to your opinion, and you always share those opinions. Rewind to yesterday's video. But it's okay. I'm okay with you guys sharing your opinion if you don't agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. It's okay. However, it's all about how you share those opinions. So I can only imagine what Ashley sees on social media. So much so, she said in a tweet, she says, this season, I'm just going to respond to you guys with emojis and gifts and things like that. Don't let them get to you, Ashley. And you might want to sign off because, I mean, Ashley has thick skin. I think she can handle a lot of the criticism. But if you can't handle the criticism, I always say, don't even read the comments. That's why sometimes I make a video and I'm just like, and then I leave it because I'm like, you're going to have your opinions. And I'm not going to base my self-esteem and my happiness based off other people's opinions. Just saying. Just for any of you trying to get into the world of putting your face and your opinion out there. Not everyone's going to love you. There's going to be some people that hate you. And understand this, your hate for me or any of these other people ain't hurting us. It's hurting you. Don't have hate in your heart. Just saying. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a tangent because I saw the hate that you guys had for Ashley last season, and apparently it still reigns. You know who also gets a lot of hate on social media, but rightfully so? Jamie Tyler. Okay, Jamie, look, I'm looking at Jamie with new eyes this season. I'm coming into this because it's been so long since we've seen these folks. So I'm looking at them a little with new eyes. Yes, new eyes. I'm looking at them a little differently. I'm trying. But Jamie's ready for you trolls on social media. I see his tweets randomly show up on my timeline ever since they made that change to Twitter. So people that I don't want to see show up, but I just keep them showing up, you know, because I need to know what's going on and what they're saying. So Jamie's ready for you trolls, okay? Jamie, buckle up. But I have to say, this very first episode, I didn't mind Jamie. I didn't mind. I love the fact that we're talking about his years of being a police officer. Remember, we talked about that here before because all the DMV were tweeting me, not tweeting me, DMing me all kinds of information and emailing me all kinds of information about the entire cast. And I was just like, oh, damn. I was like, he's a police officer? Why is he not mentioning he's a police officer? Well, in season 2, it's his coming out party. He has officially retired, and now he's telling it all. He's mentioning it all. All right. Okay. So both of these scenes, they're talking about little Jamie. And I know a lot of you called in last season and were like, they need to stop calling this grown man little Jamie. I mean, I think they do it for the show. I don't know if they necessarily do it in real life, but they probably do. We know people that do that. But it's not taking away from him being an entitled, spoiled child. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe because I believe every family has a Jamie, a little Jamie in their family. You know, that one person that just never got it together. They till this day, in their big grown selves, don't have it together. I think every family has that one person, right? I know my family has one, and at his big age, is still doing these reindeer games. Look, what are we going to do? Jamie, little Jamie, basically could not get this job because they did a background check of the last 5 years, and he had some issues 5 years ago, or even not even 5 years or recently. So he didn't end up getting the job. And because he didn't get the job, he also got a speeding ticket. And when he asked his parents for the speeding ticket, they were like, to pay for the speeding ticket, because he just paid $120 to his parole officer. What are you paying your parole officer $120 for? I've never been on parole. I don't know what. That sounds like extortion. Why are you paying your parole officer $120? Can someone explain to me that may have had a parole officer, or maybe a parole officer? Why is he paying the parole officer $120? Is it hush money? Anyone else was a little confused by that? Anyways, I don't know. You'll let me know in the chat or in the comment section. So he said he didn't have it. So he asked his father if he could pay it, and his father was like, "No, I already paid for all of this, and I do take care of this." And little Jamie blows up, and he's very upset about it. This is what they're saying. He's very upset about it, and he doesn't understand why, his new girlfriend holds him down more than his family. So now Arena's like, what? Arena and Jamie, they always looked good, but I feel like this second season, it's always the second season where these couples and these reality stars really, like, the fashion and the hair and the makeup look even better. I mean, look, let's be real. The Tylers were really bringing their fashion. I'm not going to say high fashion. I'm not going to say the most style. Their fashion, like, they take effort into what they're doing, and I can appreciate that. Well, I have to give it to Arena. For me, Arena looked good last season, but something about Arena this season, I'm just like, okay, Arena, you're looking good. Arena, no.
How you doing?
No, I'm not. I'm not flirting. Jamie, calm down. Just saying. So, I think everyone's looking good. Everyone's looking good. And we have some new people. If you saw the preview for next week and what's to come, we have some new people like Sherelle. Sherelle, what are you doing? Like, she's like getting in the mix of stuff. And we're like, who's this woman? Winter is back. I have my eye on Winter because I don't know if you paid attention to what Monique said at the reunion about Winter, calling her offline and talking about the show and blah, blah, blah. I just look at Winter like she is, what's the word? Not clout chasing, because she's already on the show. She's very, like, she always wanted to be famous, and like she's desperate to be famous. Okay, so I kind of get that vibe from her, and that kind of turns me off to her. But I'm keeping an open mind because I know you've been through some things, Winter, from last season with that man. Do I have the man's picture? I still have that man's picture here, don't I? I know I do. I must. Oh no, I don't. Damn it! I thought I still had his picture here. I'm gonna have to find. Well, no, we're done with that man, so we don't need his picture anymore, right? I'm happy that she's moved on, but this new song that she's working on, Gutter Barbies, it's like, I thought you were trying to be in a better place. But then I remember the reunion. Yeah, the reunion did not end well, especially for DJ Quick and how he was yelling at Winter. So they're not in the best place. But we'll get there. So little Jamie feels like his girlfriend holds him down better than his parents. And now Arena's like, what? I do a lot for you. All right. So, as I said to you before, right now, the main cast members, the full-time cast members, are Arena and Ashley and their husbands. But I thought that maybe Joi and Clifton from Ready to Love would be upgraded, because that was the rumor on the street after Monique decided not to. I'm wondering maybe they didn't have enough because I heard that they were still filming recently. Maybe they didn't feel like they had enough. Maybe Joi and Clifton didn't like the money. I don't know. I'm assuming right now. I don't know what happened. Maybe they just decided for this season they won't do it. They still have a very full cast though. There's a lot of side characters. But you know when there's a lot of side characters and they're not full time, they're going to be doing all kinds of stunts and shows so they can be full time. But I kind of like Joi and Clifton. I didn't watch Ready to Love their season, but I remember seeing the promo and I remember seeing clips of them on Ready to Love. A lot of you did not like Joi though. In the comment section when I mentioned Joi, a lot of you had some visceral reactions to Joi's behavior at the Ready to Love reunion. I need to go watch that again. Not again, I need to go watch it. But based off what we got with Joi and Clifton in this scene, she was living in Mexico. Damn, we're talking about Mexico a lot lately. She was living in Mexico. She's lived around the world because she's a singer. Is she a good singer? I didn't Google schmoogle her music yet. And now they're moving into a place together. They're actually a really cute couple. They're a cute couple. He has 2 kids, and they're going to be intertwining their lives together. She doesn't have any children, which leads to a interesting conversation between her and Ashley at Jayson's party. We'll get there. But this scene, to me, I kind of liked their vibe. It was different. It was kind of nice that in season 2, we're getting this new couple, which adds a different energy around the show. Did you guys feel like the show felt a little different? And not in a bad way. It felt different in a almost refreshing way. Remember when I've said this before, and I've been a big advocate. You all are always, when we're casting these reality shows, you're always mentioning people that you know, like reality TV stars or former stars or whatever it may be. I kind of like when we add people that we don't know and we create our own reality TV stars. And I know Joi and Clifton come from Ready to Love, but that was just a season ago. They're not reality TV stars. I mean, maybe in their heads, but they're not. So I kind of like what we're getting so far this season. And you already know how I feel about Ashley and DJ Quick. I was so surprised that what they gave us last season, and I feel like they're giving us that again this season. They're just so themselves, and I can appreciate that. No matter if you hate them or love them, I feel like they're being authentic. Arena and Jamie, you already know how I feel about you guys. I don't feel like you're giving us 100%. But maybe that will change this season, because in the very first episode, we see Jamie tearing up when Arena's making the speech about Jayson, because, you know, Jayson got into doors. So they're planning this big, beautiful party at this penthouse for him. And everyone loves Jayson. Everyone loves Jayson. It kind of made me sad, though, because I'm like, wait, so that means we're not going to see a lot of Jayson this season because he's going off to doors. It's all right. He needs to. This is an amazing opportunity for him. Let me take a sip from my coldest water bottle. Guys, if you've forgotten, Coldest has been a proud sponsor of the channel. Our live recaps, they don't just have water bottles that keeps your water cold for 36 plus hours or comes in multiple colors and multiple sizes. They have sheets. They have things for your bed. They have things for your pets. They have ice pack. Oh, which reminds me, I need to order another ice pack. Ice packs, all kinds of really cool things, high quality things. Head on over to Codis.com, but don't forget to use the discount code KEMP10, that's KEMP10, for 10% off of your order. More information is available in the live chat, but also in the description of this video. Thanks to Codis. Let me take another sip. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about. All right. So Joi and Clifton, I'm liking them so far. We shall see. This is very new. It's a new relationship. I don't know. Anytime I'm in a new relationship, my guard is up. So Ashley and DJ Quick talk about their son. And this was an interesting conversation. If you follow me on Twitter, then you saw I had some thoughts about the conversation that they were having. And again, I feel like Ashley shows up and we get these little inklings of how she grew up just so naturally. I love that. And they discuss about her waking up in the crack of dawn to wake up their 14, 15-year-old son so he can get ready for school. Anyone else think about Robin Dixon? Mind you, she's from the DMV. And when we were talking about the pandemic, how she wouldn't get up to, get her kids ready for the Zoom call, the Zoom school. So that made me think of that, but okay. And I have to say this, part of me, because I, at 14, 15-year-old, was not being, my mother wasn't waking me up, partially because my mother was probably already up and heading to work. So there's that part. But I can appreciate Ashley saying that, I didn't grow up with my parents giving me that sort of attention and care. And that's something that I want to be able to do for my children. But then if you remember DJ Quick from last season, which is important for those that are just coming in without watching last season, literally this is what DJ Quick's father kind of gave to him, this tough love, like this, like, you got to be a man. He's a teenager, he's 14, he's 15. And I get where DJ Quick is coming from, because he doesn't want his child to be spoiled. He wants his child to be able to have skills to do for himself. He doesn't want him to end up like little Jamie. But here's the thing, and I tweeted this before, and I'm going to say it here. We need to, especially Black boys and Black girls, the world already treats them like they're not children when they are children. One of the things that Candy said on Atlanta last season, we talked about this, we need to stop with the whole, our kids need to, rough it because we roughed it. However, we have to remember, children that are not Black children, white children, are growing up totally the opposite and are still adults taking care of themselves. Some aren't, because there needs to be a balance. Look at me, not me with no children, giving parents advice. Ashley, don't come for me. We'll get there. So I feel that there can be a level of balance where you need to give him an opportunity to be able to wake up on his own, maybe, or not even that. That's one thing that she wants to do because it makes her feel good to wake up her son. Let her do that. That's not going to make him be a terrible human being, an irresponsible adult. There are other things that he needs to do on his own that he can do on his own as he gets older. So I love what Candy said on Atlanta about this. Is like, we need to allow our children to be spoiled. We need to allow our children to, and it shouldn't even be considered spoiled. They have access, so why not give them the access? Because these white children are growing up that way. We have it too. They don't need to be dragged up. So one of the things that stood out to me in that conversation that DJ Quick was having with Ashley was that he literally was mimicking what his father had done to him. And we don't even realize that, we always talk about, I didn't like how my parents raised me that particular way, so I'm going to do differently. And then you don't even realize, and you're doing exactly what your parents did. So I literally watching DJ come, like, you're literally saying what your father was saying to you. You're just saying it a little bit differently. And I get it. That's the way you grew up. And that's why you have Ashley as your wife, to bring a balance. Like, no, that's not the way we need to raise him. Waking him up, that's not a big deal. It's not going to turn him into the next criminal. Look, by waking him up, if anything, he's going to remember those moments that he had with his mom in the morning. Just saying. Not me, not a parent giving advice to a parent. But they quickly get over it too. This is why I love this couple. I believe they truly love each other and genuinely respect each other, because they quickly get over it. And he's like, I got to go to work. And she's like, we're trying to have a deep conversation. And still, another issue with them from last season spilling over into this season is that he's still working a lot. It's okay though. It's okay. So let's talk about Jayson's party. So it looks like a beautiful penthouse. They throw this party. This is Arena's friend's penthouse, and they're doing a black party. They're setting everything up. It looks great. We're seeing some of Arena's family and friends and Jamie's family and friends. And then we see Jayson come in, dancing, happy. He just can't wait to get about that house and live his life. Good for him. Because we were just talking about this on the Real Housewives of Miami and how important it is when you have a child that might have, a disability, that you are trying actively to give them their own independence because you're not going to always be around to take care of them. If anything, I feel like Jayson has more independence than little Jamie. Little Jamie. It's okay. It's all right. We'll get to little Jamie in a second. So Joi and Clifton show up. Arena and Jamie are wondering if Monique and Chris are going to show up. I'm wondering when this was filmed because wouldn't that been an indication? I'm thinking some of this timeline is out of sorts. I feel like some of this timeline is out of sorts because if Monique and Chris did film, and this is all around October, then they're talking about this because that's when it all came out. It came out BravoCon weekend, so this was in October. That's interesting. This is not that long ago. So the timeline about this situation, producers, is very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Because I feel like they were filming way before that. So the timeline is off. Look, I'm being real, like Inspector Gadget right now because they were supposedly filming before this. Okay. Interesting timeline. Interesting timeline. All right. So Joi and Clifton show up and we find out, Joi and Clifton have been hanging out with the Tylers and they show the pictures and they've been, really getting to know them and hanging out and all the good stuff. And Joi knows Ashley as well. So as they're hanging out and they're talking and having conversation, Joi talks about that she's going to be speaking to the, for the Ready to Love panel, and she's going to be speaking to single moms. And Ashley's like, but you're not a mom. And for a woman, I can see that taking that as a dig because that is, especially because we don't know Joy's journey with motherhood. We don't know if she lost a child. We don't know if she wants children. We don't know if, we don't know. So I don't know if Ashley knows, but that could be taken as a dig. For me personally, if you were to say that to me, I would feel nothing because I don't have those feelings and I'm not a woman. So at first I was sort of like, but then Joi was just sort of like, what? And then the other young lady chimed in as well about it. But Ashley did admit, she's like, I've never been a single mom. I would have it. I think she tried to clean it up. I would have an issue talking to single moms because I've never been a single mom. But like I was just doing earlier, I don't think you necessarily have to go through an experience to be able to share your thoughts, especially because she's sharing her thoughts on being ready to love. So I don't think that she's necessarily inequipped, to lead this conversation or panel. But maybe she is. Did anyone there attend this panel? How did Joi do? How did she do? I'm just wondering what she would talk to. Like, what is the idea of being ready to love? I know we've seen the reality show, but I'm like, what are you going to say to these single moms? And why did someone, because there have been single moms on the Ready to Love panel. Why Joi? She's a singer. I know she was on a reality show called Ready to Love, but does that make her an expert? Asking, because I'm sure everyone was thinking the same thing. And per usual, live chat and replay crew in the comment section, how do you feel about that? Do you agree with Ashley? If you're not a single mom, how are you giving them any sort of advice? Or do you think like I think? Sometimes, based off your experience, you could give advice. I was just giving parenting advice and I don't have a child. Just saying. I'm okay, especially because the advice, because sometimes when you don't have children or if you're not in something, sometimes you can give a perspective that can be pretty profound. I'm doing that all the time here. I'm giving out relationship advice, and I'm not even in a relationship. Marriage advice, and I'm not in marriage advice. I'm giving parenting advice. I'm not a parent. I'm just giving a lot of advice. Live with it. This is my platform, okay? So they had that little bit of a moment. Arena does a speech for Jayson because he's going off, and to me that was a beautiful moment. I love seeing this aspect. We haven't really seen this aspect, especially in the Black community, when we talk about a child with disabilities. At least I can't think of on our reality shows. You guys will remind me in the live chat. Look, I can't remember everything, but this is what sticks out to me. So we're seeing this. We're seeing him trying to get a level of independence. We also see Jamie get very emotional. We never see this, and I know all of you tell me he's a DMV guy. He's a DC guy. He is so DC. This is what you all tell me, and I'm like, okay, look, okay. But this week in this first episode, we see him get very emotional about his son. He said, at the end of the day, like, my family is my everything. That's what gets me emotional. Arena gets emotional as well. It was a beautiful moment. Jayson's brother, Lil Jamie, arrives at this party. And Jamie and Big Jamie and Lil Jamie go outside to have a conversation. And that's where we find out what Lil Jamie was a little upset with Jamie about. And I can see why he might be upset. So as I mentioned earlier, Jamie told Lil Jamie that he's not paying for the speeding ticket. And Lil Jamie is like, I never really ask you guys for anything. Mind you, we find out that he's like, I've been paying for this. I give you money every Friday, for the last year. Like I said, every family has one. I do believe that Big Jamie does look out for Lil Jamie, and he thinks, oh, this is just one thing that I've asked you for, even though he's being taken care of by his parents. And the fact that he's bringing up this girlfriend about how she holds him down. I mean, I can understand why parents might get a little upset. Like, really? We've been taking care of you nearly for like the last 30 years. But I'll say this. I do believe that Big Jamie has a way of speaking that might be triggering to his son, that might be a little harsh to his son. He has a way. And it might be the DMV thing. It might be the DC guy thing that, Lil Jamie's just like, when I didn't get the job, what you said to me really hurt my feelings. He's not even saying it like this. I'm expressing it in this way. But basically, that's what he's saying. He's like, it hurt my feelings. Your reaction is like, you were so disappointed that I didn't get this job. I don't know why you guys were surprised. If he was in trouble so much and they're doing a background check, I mean, he can't help it. Things happen. But his father's like, you should do security, you should do that. Look, and our parents are always telling us, this is what you should do. And look, if you can't pay the bills, then you need to take whatever job you can get, at least until you're able to fund what you really want to do on your own. So I can't argue with Big Jamie about that, because, okay, we need to figure out what we're going to call these two, because I cannot do Big Jamie, Lil Jamie for the entire season 2. Can we call him something else? Oh, gosh. So I don't blame Lil Jamie for feeling away, because, sometimes parents have a way of hitting you where it hurts without even realizing it. But that's the element that we have to keep in mind when it comes to our parents. They hit certain nerves that they don't even realize that they're hitting. And I could see Jamie being a little like, you didn't get this job. You just always messing up. Well, this fight between them ends abruptly. However, Jamie's in the hallway, apparently very emotional, and a producer is there saying, like, you guys have the same name. You guys need to talk. And I'm thinking to myself, you producers need to stick in your job. And I get it. Producers need to keep the story going. But sometimes I'm just like, maybe give him a moment. Give him a moment. Apparently, Big Jamie goes out into the hallway and it leads to a physical altercation. We don't see it yet, but we see it in the preview. I have to say, and it could be this being only the second season of Love and Marriage DC, but I am in. I am in. It's not giving me the same feeling of Huntsville, probably because it's newer. And this is only their second season. We're not beating a dead horse with any of these storylines. And now we're getting a bunch of new people this season. And based on this preview, Sherelle, a pot stirrer, Winter, a pot stirrer. I don't want to hear your song. You guys made this happen. I blame all of you because when she did that impromptu, girl, we know you wrote that song and you planned that. That song last season, all of you like, you need to go to the studio and make it. You need to go in the studio and make it. And now she's in the damn studio recording Gutter Barbies. Y'all did this. Winter, I got my eye on you because I'm like, this girl just wants to be famous. She just wants to be on this show. I'm still open to you, Winter, though. We'll see how this all plays out. Guys, as always, shout out to our moderators. We could not do this, aka our King's Guards in the live chat. Shout out to our members of the channel. If you would like to become a member of the channel, head on over to TheKempire.com/join. Don't forget our new website has launched as well, TheKempire.com. You can watch us at TheKempire.com from our watch page as well, especially if you don't want to be in the live chat and you just want to watch the show. And you can get our merch and everything available there. And don't forget, a new episode of our podcast will be coming out. Don't forget to subscribe to Kempire Radio on your favorite podcast platform. And how would you rate the first premiere episode of Love and Marriage DC? I probably would rate it. I'm going to give it a 9. I'm not going to give it a 10 just yet, but I did enjoy this first episode. I might even give it a 9.5, but I don't want to start too high too soon. I'm going to give it a 9. I thought it was a solid premiere. It kept my interest way more than Huntsville this past season. We'll see if the ratings are rating. It's a new show. There's no lead, familiar face, but you got to climb, you got to work. And I think they did the work. They did the work based off the preview. Guys, as always, replay crew, I want to know where you're watching from. I want to know how you would rate this episode of Love and Marriage DC. Let's continue the conversation in the comments section. As always, we're going to get out of here with some music. And don't forget to like the video. I know you're watching. Like the video. Liking the video supports not just my channel, but other channels that recap reality TV or that talk about everything in pop culture news. Speaking of which, be sure to check out a couple of videos that you missed the last couple of days, including that Elizabeth Holmes story. Did she try to flee the country? Girl, send her to jail. Let's get out of here, y'all.